you believe in may be different from mine, and what I believe in may be different. I don't mind. Believe what you think, and I believe in mine. And in the end, we all live in life what you believe in. I don't mind. Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace. I don't mind. They believe.
Hello, it's another wonderful episode of The Believe on KAFTAN Television. And of course, I'm your very host, Prince Alex. And today I bring you a very wonderful topic, child upbringing. Child upbringing is nurturing and supporting a child's physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and intellectual development from infancy to adulthood. Children are divine gifts. One of the ways to show and express appreciation to the merciful giver is to raise children to know and worship their Creator and be useful members of their communities and the entire human race. All aspects of man's life, his character, sense of responsibility, good and bad habits, ability to cope with difficulties, and piety over shaped primarily during his childhood. My question is, do you think parents are to be blamed for societal menace caused by their children? Or were the children destined to be wayward? I will be talking about this after the break. Just stay tuned.
Mutual love and respect brings peace. I don't mind. They believe.
Welcome back. It's still The Believe on KAFTAN Television. And of course, we're looking at child upbringing. Our religious beliefs and practices have the potential to influence many aspects of life, including parenting approaches. This is particularly important in light of the growing diversity of religious affiliation in contemporary society. Children of today will form a social system tomorrow. Any deficiency in the upbringing and grooming of children will have an adverse effect on the society in the future. It is essential that children must be brought upon the most perfect mode to have a better and more positive society. The family is the first school of human values, where people learn the wise use of freedom. It is where individuals first learn to relate to others, learn to share, be patient, and show respect, help one another, and live as one. Growing up in today's world can be complicated. Parents are often worried about how their children will navigate the social, behavioral, and developmental challenge of life, especially during adolescence, which can be a particularly difficult time. Children's early age should be exploited to get better results and shape them for better effect in their adulthood, because changing habits instilled at early age is very difficult. Religion has been seen as a resource for fostering moral development in children for generations. The religious upbringing of children lays a moral and spiritual foundation in a child, while a scholastic education aims at developing his mental abilities. These are two different activities. The Holy Quran and the tradition of the Holy Prophets provide many directives and guidance in regard to children's upbringing. The Bible teaches Christian parents to train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not desire to depart from it. Parents are also advised not to provoke their children. All right, here in the studio we have Mrs. Monisola Olotu, who also specializes in childhood care and education in Adedeji College of Education. You're welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you,
How are you
Mr.
doing
Moderator.
today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. And you know, I always come with two guests. And today we have another Mrs. Adedeji, Karimat. How are you doing today?
Thank you for your
She's
program.
also a childhood educator. It's nice having you in the program.
You're welcome.
All right, viewers. It's like today is Mother's Day, so I'm in between two mothers, and yeah. So I will just open my ears to learn, just as you are also ready to listen to them. Quickly, let me ask this question. For my very first question, I asked that children sometimes they just miss it. Most times, okay, there's this adage that said, whatever the child sees the parent do, that is what they do. So, would you say, or should we fault the parents for the misconduct of the children in the society? Is it agreeable to accept these terms?
Well, thank you, moderator. I want to say that most times there is something we call nature nurture.
Okay.
The child has his own nature. And the environment in which the child lives also determines who he or she becomes in life.
Okay.
So when you give birth to, even before the giving birth to a child, whatsoever you want your child to become, you start to nurture from conception. And so when the child is born, you know, just like you have said, it is nurturing physically, spiritually, nutritionally, and so many things connected. Now the child has the ability to become something, and then the environment in which the child lives also will help the child to either become what he or she is destined to become, or alter what he or she is destined to become. So it's two ways.
Okay, quickly, Mrs. Karimat, let me just ask this. Children, basically, they are supposed to listen to their parents. They are supposed to go by the way the parents brings them up. But unfortunately, in our society, we are experiencing different menaces. And these are people's children perpetrating several acts. So how would you place this? How will you, what would you say about it? Especially from a religious point of view, to be precise. How are children, is parents to be blamed in this term for maybe not bringing up their kids properly?
The problem is we can't generally blame the parents, but parents also has a very important role to play in bringing of the child. So some parents, consciously or unconsciously, they contribute to their child waywardness. Their child, yes, consciously or unconsciously. Why is that? What you don't want your child to do, you don't start telling her or him or her to do it. For example, religiously, in our own religion, there's a there's a way you are meant to teach a child to dress up. There's a way you are meant to teach a child to talk, to do anything he or she is supposed to do. So a parent who do not reprimand a child, if he or she does something, would think that there are no rules in the society. Or a parent who, for example, when the parent switch the TV off, and the parent did not say anything or did not reprimand him for that, he will think that is how things are done in the society. That there's no, so parents have the upper role to play in the character or the trait a child is going to exhibit when he or she grows up, because the parent is the first contact to the child, the first contact to teach the child what he or she is supposed to know, so that he will be a better member of the society. Okay,
quickly, let me come back to you. There is this idea, or let me not just call it an idea, let me start with this scenario. I was opportune to meet a child, and I decided to scold the child because he lied. And I asked, why did you lie? So he said, my parents taught me to lie. And yes, he was factual. I said, how? He said, they will owe somebody, then they will ask him to go out and say they are not around. So, and sincerely, I was short of words. I didn't know how to go about it. Do you think parents should be punished for these acts, for the way they bring up children?
See, even if you are not punishing parents, what will punish them is very close by. In the very nearest future, what will punish the parents is there. Because there is no way you nurture a child to lie. In 5-10 years' time, that child will become something that you cannot correct him or her for. Now, if you want to teach, you know, this training is either conscious or subconscious. You either do it intentionally, or the way you live your life is just a replica of whatsoever you say with your mouth. So if a child is lying or cursing, there is a person that he or she has learned that trait from. And if they are the parents, in the nearest future, if he or she brings a phone of 500,000, you cannot question the attitude, because you have laid the foundation that you live your life on lies. So nobody can, you cannot punish an elderly person, but in the nearest future, when the child becomes an eyesore, when the child becomes a tout, when the child becomes a rogue, when the child becomes a robber, when the child cannot be reckoned with in the society, it becomes a punishment to the parent, because at that time, you cannot be bold enough to tell the world, this is my child, because that is just the repercussion. So you can't cane them, but give them 2 or 3 years. What will cane them, what will punish them, is laid down for them.
Okay, Mrs. Karimat, quickly, although in this society, we are trying as much as possible to make it habitable religiously. And we've seen kids in school saying that I belong to this religion, I belong to this religion. So a lot of times, to mingle becomes an issue. This idea, is it from the home?
The problem is, if we were to take it in the religious perspective, I would say, because in Islamic religion, there's a way the religion teaches a child to mingle in the society. For example, a boy is not meant to mix too much with a girl. Especially the girl child is not meant to mix too much with a boy. Look at the distance between us now. Ordinarily, even in classes in schools, this is how we sit, because we are not meant to mingle together. There is a particular age they are fit to do that. Even within family, some family, outside family members. So the way a child mingles in the environment he or she is what is the religion has taught that but at this particular age, a child, for example, a child from 2 years or a year to like 9 years old is an innocent child. He can play with anyone he or she like. But when they reach maturity age, that's when the parent now comes in. Before then, you have to do this, you have to do that. There are some things you are not supposed to do. So you talk to the children. This, especially when you are interacting with your child, this is what is happening in school. This is what I've been doing in school. Then it is the parent's duty to tell him or her that you are not supposed to be doing this. Islam does not allow this. Almighty Allah does not allow this. You are not supposed to be. So we give them the injunctions, the right injunctions to follow religiously, so that they will be aware of these things. So it won't be until when they are matured already. You now say, why are you following? No. We must start from the beginning. From the beginning, they must realize this is who to play with. This is who not to play with. We tell them from the home, even at home. When they are together, this is who you are going to. In some homes, the children bathe together, which is not proper. So these are the things we are going to be telling them, that a girl child is different from a boy child. These are the characteristics or the traits a girl child is meant to portray, and these are the characteristics a boy child is meant to portray. All right.
So, thank you so much. Quickly, before we go on our break, I want you to just help us with this question. You said something and it caught my attention. You said right from when the child is conceived, you start bringing up the child. Please, I want you to explain to the viewers how do you teach a child that is still in the stomach or in the womb how to live his life or her life?
See, we are not teaching him or her, the fetus or the embryo, how to live a life. But when you eat well and the child is getting the nutrition from what you have eaten, the brain is getting developed, ready for the activity when the baby comes to the world. And sometimes as pregnant women, you see that there is a kind of movement of the fetus. If that movement is not palatable per time, there is a way you tap the fetus and the fetus will respond to you. You know, the white men will tell you, you can sing, you can read, you can tickle. What you are doing is you are trying to stimulate the brain of that child. And that is what, upbringing is meant for. And immediately the baby is born to the world, that stimulation begins. So why we are saying that is because there is need for stimulus and response. The baby is trying to, get into a position that is not palatable. What you do is you tap. And when the baby responds, there is no way the baby will do it the next time and you tap it, that the baby will not respond positively. So that is training. As you are doing it, you are sending, there is something, you are sending messages to the neurons of the brain. And so at that time, the baby knows that there is something that happens when I do this. And this is the kind of action I bring forth to that one. And so when the baby is given birth, that stimulation also continues. And you know, in our study, we said that from conception till the age of 5, that is when the brain grows the most. And so at that time, you must ensure everything you want the child to become in the nearest future is instilled in that child consciously.
All right, thank you so much. But quickly, let's just, I think it's hot in the studio, quite all right. And we just have to go for a quick break. Then we'll come back to this beautiful school. Let's take a break.
Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace.
Welcome back to the Believe on KAFTAN Television, and today we are still looking at child upbringing, and we still have our very own Mrs. Monisola Olotu and Mrs. Adedeji Karimat. Okay, Mrs. Karimat, let's bring it from this. Let's take an instance of the society we live in. Then let's relate it to the Islamic religion. Now, in this modern society, you're not permitted to touch your child, hit your child, in a bid to correct the child. You don't correct the child with a cane. But while growing up, I know that this help keep the child alright. But right now, the society is changing. Are we saying that there is a societal factor to how the children are behaving currently in the society? And from the religious perspective, should we continue with the former method, or should we just hold it still?
There's the thing about bringing up a child and correcting a child. For every home, there must be a set of rules.
Okay.
And you must make the children realize that when you don't follow these rules, there will be a punishment. There will always be a punishment. That is when they will be able to realize that they are not supposed to do this, but they are not supposed to do that. For example, if we look at it this way, if I'm trying to tell my child to pray, which is one of the compulsory aspects of the religion, you understand? And there is a certain age in Islam where if the child doesn't pray, even the religion advises us and tells us that we can reprimand them. Okay. So the way we choose to reprimand them is one that is now our whole focus now. Okay. It's not by beating. By the time you beat a child, you can't use the authoritarian start saying because you are not to do that, you are not to do that, you are to obey. No. Okay. But we are going to try to let the child understand that if you don't do this, for example, the child loves watching cartoon. But if you don't do this, at that time you want to watch cartoon, it will not be possible for you to watch that. It's better you do this. That's a way of one way of reprimanding a child. So by the time you don't set rules, and the child is not able to follow rules as he or she is supposed to do, there will be problem in the society. Because a child is already from the home used to my parents instructing me to do this. So when he or she gets outside of the society, he or she is going to know that these are the things I'm supposed to do here, and these are the things I'm not supposed to do here. So all these things count, and everything starts from the home. It starts from the parents. It's the parent that will instill this. If the parent just decide to overlook all these things, it will affect the child and it will affect our society at large.
Wow. This is cool, actually. Ms. Olotu, what would you have to say in this situation? Actually, if we observe, Western culture is eating deep into our own culture, into our own system. You can't hit a child. You can't. In fact, they teach you how to correct your child. And this is your child, actually. You know what you want from this child. So religiously, I mean, from the Christian religion, how do you see it? Even the Bible stated that do not withdraw the rod of correction from the child. So how do you now correct a child without a rod?
Now, we are not saying that you shouldn't hit or discipline a child. Okay. We are not white men and white women. This is Africa and this is Yoruba land. Okay. But we are conscious of the fact that the way we hit at them, we should be careful. Okay. Most teachers in school, even most parents, a child has offended you, the next thing is a knock on the head. It might affect the brain. It might affect nerves on the brain. And the more reason we say we are conscious of how we approach caning. Even the Bible says that foolishness resides in the heart of the child. And with the rod of correction, you chase it out. So now how do you use the rod? I am not saying that we should cane children, but there are some instances that you need to spank them. As they are, your 2 fingers can become cane. You understand? Okay. There is a way you can spank the child, but most of the time, we want to use cane rather than sit with the child and teach them what they need to do. Most of the time when you sit a child down, as little as he or she is, and you talk sense into his or her head, she's remorseful and she wants to listen to you. But when you start to use cane, she becomes, you know, adamant. Cane, at least 5. I'll take it, mommy, oh yeah. And then that child becomes adamant to correction. So I am not in support of you caning. At least try as much as possible to use, you know, the democratic method. Why have you done this? Why did you have to do it? Have I not told you not to do this, not to do that? But there are some instances that immediately you can cane. But be careful of where you cane the child. We only frown at you caning the child and leaving marks on the body. But you can at least 2 strokes of the cane. You have done what I asked you not to do. The next time, don't use cane. I have told you, simple disobedience. As the Bible has said, you want to go to hell? I know, mommy, I don't want to burn in fire. And then the child starts to remember that. So we are not saying that you should not use cane, but don't let cane be the primary, you know, caning be the primary way of correcting a child.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. I believe you viewers, you're learning a lot because me, I'm not married yet, but I think I'm learning a lot already. But quickly, I want to ask you, Mrs. Karimat, we've seen parents that have invested a lot in bringing up a child. And those child go out there, mix with friends, and the child is nothing to write home about these days. And it's appalling that the parents have actually invested a lot and nothing is forthcoming. I'm not talking about maybe the child bringing money home. I'm saying the child is now wayward. Now, should we say it's destiny? Or what went wrong along the line?
Before a child cannot just wake up one morning and become wayward. There will have been a sign from the parents. For only if the parent chooses to neglect. A parent has to be in the life of the child right from the beginning till I don't even know when. Till I don't know when. Has to be there. So there will have been one sign or the other before a child can just go wayward. Because he or she mingles in the society, there will have been a sign. And how are these parents going to know the sign? Okay, the child left for school, for example. Go to the child's room. Check what is there, what is not supposed to be there. As a parent, you have every right to ransack his or her room.
Okay.
Visit the school the child is.
Okay.
Talk to the friends. Know the friends of your children. There is no problem in that. You know the friends he or she is talking to. When, in fact, ask friends to visit. If it's a girl, don't you have a friend? I've been noticing you've not. Ask them to visit if they are of age, so that you know them. You'll be able to interact with them. Then you'll be able to know what they are up to, what they are doing. So there will have been signs in all these things. Only if the parent is neglectful. Those are the parenting style that is. That's when you will not know. But when you are the one that talk to your child, you know what is going on in your child's life. All these things, before a child can become wayward, you will have at least know when to correct his or her behavior. It won't just happen all of a sudden. Something will have happened. So when it now happens, because there's this thing we call personal trait. Okay. You've told the child, don't do this. You've been trying your best. Pray to God. Pray to Almighty Allah. Don't. And at the end of the day, you know, the peers, the peers will come in. Yeah. But I think there's still a way we can curb that. How can we curb that? Let the child know what he or she is supposed to do at a particular period in time. when they know what they are supposed to do at a particular period in time, I think there won't be any. For example, you can't expect to send a child outside and be expecting a child to bring money for you. There's a certain age a child is going to give back to the parents. It's not. We are not talking about the adolescent age. We are not talking about the puberty age. So when children start bringing money or doing things themselves, you should be wondering, well, where did you bring this or where did this come from? So you should wonder and then correct that. And when he or she doesn't listen, then you provide you go the hard way, like my Mrs. Olotu said here, that there's a way you are going to reprimand them. And you talk, if it's to them, for you to put them in religious places to learn the teachings. Sometimes it's not about all this Western education, because education is education, either Western, either spiritual, either Islamic. Education is education. Put them where you know they are going to follow the line they are supposed to follow, so that they will be able to move away from their bad behavior. So parents have a lot to do in all these things we are talking about.
Okay, parents have a lot to do. I'm scared already. I'm scared. Well, Mrs. Olotu, what do you want to chip in? Because it's like you have...
Yes, I want to say that, see, there is need for you to be a friend to your children. From cradle, if they can confide in you. In primary school, they can confide in you. In secondary school, they can confide in you. Even when they get to an institution, there is the kind of confidence they have in you. Because they know that, just talk to mommy about this thing, she will prefer solution. And peradventure, see, this peer influence is so grievous now in this society.
True.
There is need for you to constantly talk to them. Call them. They are in OAU, they are in Unilag. Hello, darling, how are you doing? You know, mommy still loves you. Are you with your friend? Let me, just like she has said, let me talk to your friend. Be on WhatsApp, chat with them. And we still need to pray for them. See, there are some children who are destined for destruction. They are looking for gangs. That we are not falling alone, we want to fall with many. And so they might be fortunate to be in the class or even hostels of your children. Pray for them. And don't forget that you should have instilled the fear of God in them before they go outside. See, a child you don't train from cradle, even in primary school and in secondary school, there is no training you can give when he or she is made, as in molded. There is no training. Somebody who doesn't pray when she's at home with you, do you expect her to pray, go to fellowship, go to church, attend programs when she's in school? It's not possible. So you have to be intentional about it. Things you don't like. So you want to buy a dress, you are buying a dress that is revealing. Of course, when he or she gets to school, she's used to that kind of a dress. She will continue to wear them. But you have told them, as see, your body is the temple of God, just as the Bible has said. And whoever wants to defile it, the Bible says God will destroy. So please, don't intentionally want to destroy your body. You have told them evil communication corrupts good manner. When you get to school, ensure you communicate, you befriend godly children. And that will help them. But when you just leave them to decide, you have to be purposive. You have to be intentional about it. Because at the end of the day, the result comes back to you. It's either you spend your whole age enjoying, or you spend your whole age crying.
Wow.
That's true.
This is deep. This is deep. But quickly, what would you say to parents right now? How would you advise them in bringing up their child? Just in 30 seconds, please. The advice I would like to give to parents is that they should make sure they surround the whole of their children. But when I mean surround the whole of their children, doesn't mean they should always be with them every time. But they should make sure they give the right upbringing, the right attitude. Everything starts from the parents. When the parent does these things right, the child looks towards, imitates the parents. So it's what you do. In fact, it's what you do to your spouse that your child will do to his or her own spouse. And also, is what do you do to a visitor
or to your child's teacher. That's what the your child will emulate. When I was in primary school, my dad used to do this to my. They will always remember. In fact, they remember those things they do in prayer me than any other class. In prayer me, most especially, because that is the stages and the stage of the child upbringing. So we should make sure that everything we do, we send a positive vibe to our children anywhere we are or anywhere they are. So that's all.
Thank you so much, Ms. Olotu. In 30 seconds, advise parents out there.
Yes, I want parents to be responsive to the children's emotion. Okay. Be able to read your child. What is happening? How can I help you? Can you tell mommy something? And then allow, natural occurrence. Let them make mistake while they are still with you. And then nurture them to try to correct the mistakes themselves. Don't enforce them. Let them learn as on the go. Okay. Communicate with them effectively. There is need for them to be able to confide in you. My mommy, something happened in school. My dear, what happened? Don't say you will tell me later. That later might be too late. We have seen cases where children have been molested, and the parents have not been available to listen to the cries of their children. So let us befriend them. Be their friend, breed their confidence, communicate to them, chat with them, love what they love. Mommy, I love to play ball. Sit with them, watch ball with them. It's cartoon. Mommy, oh, Ben 10. Watch with them. When they know that you are involved in what they love, there is nothing that happens to them in the journey of their life that they will not carry you along. Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Ms. Karimat, thank you for educating us today. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Our viewers who've heard what they have said, that you don't want to spend your old age crying, I think it's the right time you bring up your child in the way he should go. Maybe one day we'll bring fathers too in the house, because fathers are missing a lot. In child upbringing, they are so carried away with works and all that. So one day we'll just look at the role of fathers in children upbringing. All right, until I come your way next time, I remain Prince Alex. Bye for now.
What you believe in may be different from mine, and what I believe in may be different. I don't mind. Believe what you think, and I believe in mine. And in the end, we all live in life. What you believe in, I don't mind. Our views and their views may not be the same. Mutual love and respect brings peace.